Okay, everyone. We have people slowly entering into the meeting. I've just opened up the lobby to let everyone in. My name is Andrea Lewis. I'm with the Braddock District Office with Braddock District Supervisor Rashna Sizemore-Heiser. And I want to thank you all for being here this evening. Let me turn on my camera. My apologies. I thought I had my camera on. There we go. So just wanted to thank everyone for being here this evening. And before we kick off the virtual town hall, wanted to walk you through some of the logistics for tonight's meeting. Since we are expecting a large number of attendees, we're setting everyone's microphones to mute, except for those of the presenters, to prevent noise interference and to prevent people from accidentally speaking over each other. We want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to hear the information being shared by county officials this evening and to hear the questions from the community. If you have any questions during the county presentations or the question and answer period, please enter them into the Teams chat by clicking on the chat icon that's up here in the upper left-hand side of your ribbon in the screen where you have other icons up here. Once you click on that chat icon, it will open up a screen on the right-hand side of your screen where you can enter your questions into the open data field and hit enter. Our staff will be monitoring the chat questions and read them out to the Fairfax County staff during the question and answer period. We may also summarize similar questions that we see into one question and provide them to county officials for a response. We will do our best to ensure that everyone has a chance to have their question answered. If we don't have an answer for you, or if we can't get to your question, we will follow up with you after this event in an email. So if in particular, if we can't get you an answer this evening, please be sure to leave your name and email in the chat so that we can follow up with you. Finally, I want to inform everyone that this evening's event will be recorded, and the link to the recording will be shared in next week's Braddock District Beacon. You may subscribe to our newsletter by sending requests to subscribe to braddock@fairfaxcounty.gov. That's our email address. We've already begun the recording. Again, thank you everyone for attending tonight's virtual town hall. This is regarding the June 22nd microburst incident that happened here in Burke. Now I'll turn it over to Supervisor Rashna Sizemore-Heiser. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Andrea and Ethan, who's also, I believe, online for helping organize. And I want to first start by thanking everyone who's joining the town hall this evening. Please know that our county staff and those of us here in the Braddock District office are here to support you. We're here to help you as you work through the aftermath of this microburst and answer your questions and connect you with resources as we can. And so I'm really grateful for you all to join us and for the county staff and all the work they've already done and the continued work that they are doing to support the community. We've gathered emergency responses experts to come speak to you this evening about what they found along Guinea Road and Zion Drive and in the many communities around Royal Lake. They'll be here briefly to discuss their responses and to share information about what's happening going forward and resources. Before we turn it over to them, I want to do a couple of introductions. First, I'd like to welcome Delegate Laura Jane Cohen, who is here. I'm not sure if she's here yet. I know she's planning on attending tonight. I'll give her a chance to speak in a minute. I'd also like to welcome Amir Abdullah Hawa, who is joining us this evening from Chairman McKay's office, and he's here to also support. I know we have several local civic association and HOA presidents here this evening, and the president of the Braddock District Council, Todd Murphy. I appreciate you all attending on behalf of your communities. There'll be a chance for some question and answer afterwards, as Andrea went over. So, and again, if your questions don't get answered tonight, please send them and we'll make sure they all get answered. I know the storms were unprecedented for this area. It was a strong and powerful that hit a very targeted section here in the Braddock District and in Burke. And the storm kind of caught some of our residents off guard. It hit during the worst time during the rush hour. We visited the site a couple days later, I wanted to give our emergency response folks the free space to handle the urgencies in the beginnings of it. And we were really kind of stunned to see the level of tree loss and property damage. It was really a sobering sight, and we're here to support you as you deal with the aftermath. I am grateful nobody was injured and there are no fatalities, but obviously this will have a lingering effect on our residents, and we're here to support you through that. So with that, I'm going to see if Laura Jane Cohen is here. And if she's not, we'll give her a chance to speak later. I will go ahead and turn it over to, before I say, I'm really glad how rapidly our first responders and other agencies, fire and rescue, police department, land development services, VDOT, Dominion Energy, Red Cross, and so many more of our agencies. Our coordinator of the Department of Emergency Management and Security, Coordinator Seamus Mooney, who's been on site and was on site almost immediately, did a wonderful job of coordinating the all hands on deck. But unfortunately, due to scheduling conflicts, he was unable to join us this evening. So his Deputy Director of Emergency Management, Mr. Sulayan Brown, is here and will brief us on the response and handle the next portion of it. He's been in touch with my office and many others. So in the meantime, please let us know if there's anything we can do here in the Braddock office to support you. I appreciate you attending, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Brown to take over from here. So thank you again, and thank you to all the staff who came tonight. We had, I think, 20 agencies represented tonight, so it's quite the group that's coming to support you all.
Thank you, Supervisor Heiser. I appreciate it. And welcome everybody this evening. My name is Sulayan Brown. As Supervisor said, I'm the Deputy Coordinator of Emergency Management. I'm kind of going to host this event a little bit in reference to agencies. So if you would give me a couple minutes to kind of set the stage on what happened, what National Weather Service is calling it, and then we'll get into the agency briefings. On June 22nd, the Department of Emergency Management and Security began notifying residents through Fairfax alerts and other public information channels about the potential for severe weather. The first public message was issued at 12:21 p.m., notifying residents that strong storms were possible between 2 p.m. and midnight via social media. The first Fairfax alert message was sent at 2:10 p.m., informing residents that the area was under an official severe thunderstorm watch. At 5:05 p.m., the first severe thunderstorm warning was issued, urging residents to take immediate life safety actions. An additional 5 Fairfax alerts were sent through the evening as the storm threat continued, including the message informing residents that the watch had been canceled. Additional public messaging was sent via social media channels and the Fairfax County emergency blog. That evening, a severe thunderstorm produced a microburst approximately 1 mile northwest of Burke, with peak winds estimated at around 90 miles per hour. A microburst is a localized column of rapidly shrinking air within a thunderstorm that can produce destructive straight line winds. Severe straight line thunderstorm downburst wind gusts can sometimes produce damage equivalent to an EF0 and an EF1 tornado. The storm caused widespread damage across Lake Royal and surrounding Burke communities, bringing down numerous trees onto homes, vehicles, roads, and power lines, and causing significant damage to several residences. During and after the event, we remained in close coordination with the National Weather Service to monitor conditions, assess impacts, and support the damage assessment process. The following morning, the National Weather Service conducted a survey of the affected area using the on-ground assessments and weather radar data. They confirmed the damage was caused by a microburst with no evidence of a tornado. While the damage to homes and property was significant, we are grateful that there were no reported injuries. We recognize how disruptive and stressful this event has been for many families. I will now turn it over to my colleague, Deputy Coordinator Diane Hanson, to talk a little bit about the local declaration process and potential FEMA process. Diane? Andrew, does she have authorization?
And I think she needs to get authorization to be unmuted.
Okay, I think I just unmuted her.
Okay.
Can
Diane,
she do
if
it
you
now?
Yep. Thank you so much. I appreciate
You're welcome.
that.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Thank you. I know many people have asked about the emergency declaration process, so I just want to give a quick overview of how that works.
You say what?
Oh,
Oh, I'm
just a
sorry.
moment. Just a moment. Sorry, Diane,
Oh,
just a
yeah.
moment.
Sure, no problem. Okay.
Okay.
When we really work closely with the National Weather Service in determining the forecast for a significant event that comes into the county. And we meet with our agency partners to discuss the impacts of the upcoming event that's going to happen. With what Mr. Brown just described, we were obviously forecasting severe thunderstorms with a potential of some high winds. At that time, we did not see a need to invoke a local declaration because we basically evaluating the Weather Service forecast did not see that it was going to have a significant impact on the county and county operations. Sometimes after a major event occurs, we may reassess doing a local declaration, meaning we will go out, like Mr. Brown said, and assess damages. With the county being 1.1 million residents and 450,000 residential homes, the impact was very isolated in the Burke community, affecting, at the end of the day, significant damage to 9 homes. So looking at that data, the county did not decide to do a local declaration, and it also did not impact county operations or put a strain on county operations. And that's one of the things that we look at for a local declaration. Chris has his hand up.
I'll just remind people who may have entered a little bit late, please put your questions in the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate that. Thank you, Diane. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I can also address the FEMA assistance as well. FEMA
Yes,
does have an individual assistance program for residents, citizens across the country. They also take a look at and evaluate the overall impact of a natural disaster. And when they look and evaluate, again, it goes back to percentages of the county or a state that was impacted by a particular event. So when we look at the microburst in Burke, we really are looking at a very, very small percentage of the county population overall. So that's what they take into effect. And for example, if we had numerous microbursts, say across the county as a whole, and we started to gather data that looked at a significant percentage of the county population affected by a significant event, then we would be able to have some dialogue moving forward for that type of assistance. Thank you, Solomon.
Thanks, Diane. Appreciate that. Moving along, Police Department, Fairfax County Police Department. Andrew, I believe that's Captain Crawford.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. I'm Captain Crawford. I'm the Assistant Commander at West Springfield Station. So just give you a little idea of what we did for this situation. Our main priorities for something like this would be obviously public safety, traffic control, and then visibility in the affected areas. And then we support everybody else and anything they might need from us. So specifically for this, when this came out, we used our drones as the first responders as the first thing. So when we first heard this, they pulled the drone that's on top of one of the county buildings in Burke, and they flew it over and they could see where the damaged areas were. So that helped us direct in the fire department and our officers to those areas. And then we used that as kind of like where we were going out for traffic control, making sure everybody was not injured, those type of things. So we used our drones to direct everybody into that scene. So once we were kind of stable with that, we had more officers there to help with traffic control and visibility in that area. So following the event, we kept increasing patrols through that impacted neighborhood. just to make sure we had a visible presence throughout there and to check on the areas to make sure, nobody was going in there and stealing things out of the homes while people were away or while they were getting worked on, that type of thing. We also put out our trailers that have the cameras on them that you guys might have seen with the flashing lights on it, so we could monitor things when the officers weren't there, which is tied into our real-time crime center. So if anybody called about anything, we could see what was going on right away. And then we had our traffic units. They put out generators at the affected intersections, to keep traffic flowing in that area. So we kind of had a big presence there, helping fire department and us identify all the hazards and getting everybody to the areas that they needed. So that's a short version of what the police department did.
Thanks, appreciate that, Captain. Fire and Rescue, Chief Moreland, or his representative.
Lieutenant Wyatt.
Mr. Brown, I'm sorry, this is Andrea Lewis. Did we want to take a moment we just noticed that Delegate Laura Jane Cohen joined
yes,
us.
Absolutely.
Rashna, did you want to introduce her?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And I just wanted to say Delegate Laura Jane Cohen has just joined us. So I wanted to give her a couple of minutes. She represents that area as well and can be helpful, especially with dealing with VDOT and other issues. So Laura Jane, I'm going to leave. Delegate Cohen, I apologize. She and I served on the school board together, so we know each other well. Delegate Cohen, I'm going to turn it over to you to introduce yourself.
Also, if I could please ask for
me.
Okay. Oh, and I'm sorry. If I could just ask the speakers each time you come up to speak, please turn on your camera. Thank you.
And Andrea, for some reason, it will not let me do that. It says that it's been disabled. So.
Okay. Just a moment. Let me see if I can fix that for you. Give me just a couple seconds.
It's really okay. Not to worry. I don't want to interrupt the amazing things that I know that I'm going to be hearing about, all that Fairfax County is really working to do, and I so appreciate it. And here we are. And just want to let you know, from the state perspective, we're obviously watching everything that we can about where the state can be helpful, where VDOT can be helpful, and just really appreciate Supervisor Sizemore Heiser's office and everything that the supervisor has been doing to stay on top of this from.
Okay. Thank you very much, Delegate Cohen. I apologize. I had a difficult time seeing your name down there. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think we're going to move along to Fire and Rescue. I thought it was Captain Moreland, but is it Chief Wyatt? Yes.
Yeah, and your camera should work now.
Chief Wyatt, there you go. Can you unmute yourself, or do we need to do that for you? Andrew, you have to unmute Chief Wyatt.
There we go. Everybody hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, it's Lieutenant Wyatt. I didn't get a field promotion. Thanks anyway. I'm with Special Operations Emergency Preparedness. The night of the incident, I think we answered over 150 calls in 90 minutes. That's including all types of calls, not just specific to the ones in Burke. We were able to pretty rapidly, with the uniformed fire officer at dispatch and the fire department liaison at the real-time crime center, prioritize calls, get them to where there was reports of persons trapped, anything like that, kind of prioritize them to get everything out. We were able to meet every call that came in and back into normal operations in about 2.5 hours after everything calmed down. But we moved specialized units down from the north end of the county to help out. There was really no warning as to where it was going to hit and when it was going to hit, but we were ready pretty much all day with a plan, figuring out where we had to send everybody. After that, we've just kind of been supporting DEMS and the police department with whatever they need in the area. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Lieutenant. I appreciate it. Appreciate you coming. Department of Public Safety Communications 911, Drew. Andrew, Drew Clark is his name.
Okay, just a moment. What's the name again?
Drew Clark.
Clark?
DRU. Yep. CLARKE.
DRU? Okay.
No, CLARKE. Clark.
But
His
first
last-
name. First name
Drew.
DRU.
Drew. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, got
I
it.
think
He's
we've
got,
got it.
All
okay,
right, there
great.
you go.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I am Drew Clark, the Deputy Director of Operations for your 911 Center. For us, the storm caused a significant impact in our workload. So just to kind of give you some context, for the first hour of the storm, so from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., we processed about 358 calls for service during that 1 hour. That's 3 times our normal workload. 71 of those calls, so 20% of those calls in the first hour came from the Burke area. We processed our first call for service within the Burke area at around 5:05 p.m. The call was entered at 5:07 and responders arrived on scene around 5:17 p.m. So that's kind of just a general overview of what we were dealing with in the first hour. I do want to re-emphasize Supervisor Heiser's comments in the beginning that along with all the other agencies here, the 911 Center stands aside them just in support of our residents and community members that were impacted by this. Thank you, Solomon.
Thank you, Drew. Appreciate it. Next would be Public Affairs, Tony Castrelli.
Yes, good evening. My name is Tony Castrelli. I'm the Director of Public Affairs for Fairfax County. It's good to connect with you tonight. I'm going to provide you 3 resources and share my screen here, and then I'll put this information in the chat and also hopefully provide a couple pieces of information regarding some of the questions I'm seeing in the chat real quickly, which I think should help. On the evening of the storm, we shared information through Fairfax Alerts, as Suleiman referenced, and Frank Anderson just posted in the chat a place where you can sign up for those alerts, where Fairfax County sends out warnings and watches regarding weather. And if you're signed up, you should receive that information in the future. In addition, I'll add in the chat our social media hub. That evening, we did share information regarding the impending storms and the aftermath through our many social channels. When there's a storm like this, Twitter, Facebook, probably Instagram a little less so, but those 2 tools are used. What you see here is something called Storm Center. When there is a storm approaching, we coordinate with police, fire, and emergency management and share information through our social media channels. So that's a resource you can use in the future. But regarding this particular incident, we did establish a page called the Burke Microburst Incident, which you can see there. And this page has been updated and was posted on June 23rd, obviously the day after the storm. It includes contact information that you can use moving forward, and hopefully in the last 2 weeks, some of you did actively access this. Following this meeting, we will take some of the information and questions you're asking and add an FAQ to this to hopefully provide a standard place where phone numbers and resources can be provided. But this page right here offers information that connects you to land development services, which are doing some of the surveys, information about door-to-door solicitators and what you need to know about that. We are aware of some scams that have been potentially, people taking advantage of the situation. We wanted to remind people of that on this page. And then there's additional information here that links you directly to county website pages. The good news is we checked, this page has been viewed 3,125 times already. So some of you are aware of this, but this is on the county homepage for your use. Lastly, just for your information and for the future, we have a page on our website titled Hotlines and Emergency Numbers. As you can see, it obviously includes 911, the non-emergency number, which reaches the Public Safety Communication Center, and they can connect you with police and fire and other services immediately, but also includes numbers regarding down trees and wires, flooding, utilities, and a connection to VDOT. So I just wanted to provide those pages with you. I'll add them to the chat. I'll also add our social media hub where you can find additional information. And then lastly, just a reminder that following this meeting, we will add a Q&A to the Storm Center page, to the Storm Center page to provide updated information for future use. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. Next up would be VDOT. Andrew, I think that his name is Robson, Todd Robson.
ROB.
SON. Owen.
Okay. Trying to find his.
I think you got me now.
All right.
Great,
All
thank
right.
you.
Absolutely. So, hello, everyone. Todd Robson here. I'm with the Virginia Department of Transportation, and I want to give you a quick little briefing, kind of the pre-storm planning that we were doing during, and then later on as we're still recovering some of the damage that has taken place within the VDOT right of way. So, a lot of our pre-storm planning is typically with National Weather Service, with our local partners. We were doing a lot of preparation with our internal folks, ensuring that our emergency call out staff was ready to roll, vectors, loaders, all the tree crews, all the different things that we were rolling through and planning for. So this was a unique event hitting that Burke area. So about an hour and 20 minutes after the event came through, we also began receiving a ton of trouble calls, and those are routed through our TOC down there in Fairfax County, right there on West Ox Road. And we typically roll through those. That system creates a work order for our crews. Our emergency staff comes rolling in, and we were there within an hour, 20 minutes. We obviously worked through the night, ensuring that all the trees, all the debris, all the things were cleaned up, removed from the right of way. And as we push through, we're still getting a ton of calls for additional trees, things like that are falling into the right of way. We anticipate that with such devastating types of events like this. So we will continue to respond. A real great thing for us is that TOC that I just mentioned. We're in a situation to where 1-800-4ROAD is our system of record. That's where all of our information comes through. And typically that information gets directed right to that local superintendent, supervisor for the Braddock or the Burke area. And those crews are dispatched accordingly to get out and remediate a lot of the damages out there. So we're also teaming with our signal crews and allow those folks to ensure traffic keeps moving. Pretty pleased on how this event went, even though we did work through the night. But our efforts are recognized, and I'm pleased with how our response took place. So that's about it from VDOT. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Todd. We appreciate it. Next, we're going to go with Land Development Services. Jay. One second.
Good evening.
Great.
Yep, I see it.
There you
Yep,
go.
thanks.
Great.
Appreciate it. Good evening, Jay Riott, Fairfax County's building official representing Land Development Services. This event, of course, brought lots of damage to buildings, including residential and commercial structures in this area, lots of fallen trees and debris, as we have seen. On the day of and next day, building inspectors were out assessing the damage and whether these buildings affected by this event were in this area were safe to occupy or not. So that was our first goal, was to ensure safety of the occupants and whether these buildings could be safely occupied. We found a few structures that were left damaged to a point where they had to be vacated. However, there were many others that still sustained a significant amount of damage. So our role in LDS, Land Development Services, is here to help with getting these repairs completed as quickly as possible. We have dedicated a couple of staff members specifically for this event that are ready to help with the building permitting and inspection process to complete these repairs as quickly as possible. Also, we have dedicated staff ready to help with getting the approvals needed for any work that is in the Chesapeake Bay resource protection areas specifically related for this event. Some repairs and work may not require permits, while some more extensive, repairs will. So if you are unsure of whether permits are required, we recommend requesting what is called a damage assessment or damage report, where one of our building inspectors will schedule a time with each person individually to visit your property to assess the damage and provide whether the repairs will require a building permit or not, and provide you with next steps on how to get started with these repairs. These damage assessments, simply put, can be requested online through what we have is called the PLUS system. The easiest way to get started is simply Google Fairfax County Damage Report. It's the first link that shows up. You just have to click on that and it guides you on step-by-step on how to create, if you need to create an account and then set up a damage request, or damage report request. Again, if you need a building permit for these building repairs or need tree removal in an RPA, we have dedicated our staff specifically to help with the process to expedite and simplify these reviews and approvals to help get back to normal as soon as possible.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Jay. Next is Chris Harrington from Public Works.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris Harrington. I'm the Director of Fairfax County's Department of Public Works and Environmental Services. We're generally responsible for stormwater, wastewater, solid waste, and capital facility construction for Fairfax County. I'm going to drop a link or 3 links into the chat. They're the best ways, the most efficient ways to access our services. And so there's a link to our Report a Problem service request portal. So all of the services that we provide to the people of Fairfax County can be accessed via that first link. There's a lot of questions I'm seeing in the chat about trees and who's responsible and who to call. That second link has a link to the county's tree resources, and it's broken out kind of by situation. So it can help you decipher based on where the tree is, what a potential course of action could be for you. And then the last one is a link to our solid waste facilities at the I-66 transfer station off West Docks Road, or at the I-95 landfill down in Lorton. And so there is more information about the things that you can bring there and our hours of operation, as well as the charges. Also, I would encourage you to please contact your local, your specific trash collector. Fairfax County only collects about 10% of residential trash around the county in specific areas called sanitary districts, which generally do not include the areas impacted by the storm. And so there are some resources, however, on that first link, our service request portal, but your trash pickup, your private service provider would probably be your first and best course of action. Thanks, Suleiman. I'm complete.
Thank you, Chris. Really appreciate it. Next up would be Park Authority, Kim Eckert. Kim?
Yeah, excuse me, this is Andrea. Before we move on to Kim, I just want to let people know that our team here is seeing the comments in the chat, and we will be getting to your questions as best as we can during the question and answer period. So thank you for putting your questions in there. We'll get to those in a few minutes. Okay, go ahead, Kim.
All right, I'm off mute now. Hello, everyone. My name is Kim Eckert. I'm the Director for Park Operations. Just giving an update today on Lakeside Park and Royal Lake Park. As you may know, those are the parks that border the main lake there in the community. Park maintenance crews have been hard at work addressing a lot of the immediate tree work in the park. But you will see them. There is a lot more needed. So you will see some continued tree work, crews out there clearing, hauling, and again, just more tree work. So you will see some big equipment out there, as well as some minor park repairs. I think we did drop a link in the chat, but I will do that again for how you can get in contact with the Park Operations Division if you are to observe anything in the park that should need to be addressed, or you need anything from us. So I will do that. And if we haven't seen you in the park, hopefully we'll see you in the park soon. And that's it. Thank you. All the trails and the parks are open. Thanks.
Thanks, Kim. Appreciate it. Next up will be Facilities Management Division, Mike Lambert. Mike?
Hello, this is Mike Lambert from the Facilities Management Division. Facilities Management is the steward of all land owned by the Board of Supervisors. The board owns 2 4-acre parcels south of Guinea Road that straddle Lake Point Drive. Since last week, FMD staff have been fielding costs about the tree issues that resulted from the storm and meeting with residents. Our arboreal contractor, Green Tree, has been removing fallen trees and dangerous limbs from the parcels. They are at the site today continuing with the cleanup. A certified arborist working for Green Tree walked the parcels last week and identified tree hazards. They will be on site again on Friday. The arborist is taking into account the impact that invasive vines and spotted landflies may have on tree health. County Forest Conservation staff also walk the perimeter of the properties and mark the trees for removal. And I will put our contact information in the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Next up would be Neighborhood and Community Services, just to talk to the residents a little bit about what potentially services the county can provide to them. So that would be Rhonda Reams, Andrea. Rhonda, are you muted or?
Rhonda Reams,
Yes.
RHLIVA.
REAMES.
Got it. Can someone else see if they can let her in? For some reason, her name's not coming up in my system.
She'll have to physically unmute herself, but
Yeah, I
she
think
has
she-
the ability to do so.
Okay, we'll come back to Rhonda if that's okay. And we'll go with Family Services.
Wait, I've got her.
Oh,
I've got her.
you-
Hold on.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, she should be good to go in just a second.
Okay.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, we got you, Rhonda.
Great. Yes, I am Rhonda Reams. I serve as the Facilities and Operations Manager for the Department of Neighborhood and Community Services, otherwise known as NCS. And I'm also our agency's Emergency Response Coordinator. So a little bit about NCS. We play a vital role in connecting community members to the services and supports they need. Through our Coordinated Services Planning Unit, CSP, we provide a single accessible entry point for community members seeking assistance. CSP specialists listen to each caller's situation, assess their needs, and link them to the appropriate county and community resources. Things such as rental assistance, food, healthcare, employment supports, transportation, and other essential human services. In my role, I work closely with Department of Emergency Management and Security, along with other county agencies to support countywide emergency response efforts. And this includes coordinating NCS's role in disaster preparedness, response, and recovery, and ensuring that our facilities, staff, and programs are ready to serve community members when emergencies occur. By integrating our CSP functions into this broader framework, we help ensure that individuals and families can access timely coordinated assistance during both everyday challenges and large-scale events. I do know that several community members did reach out to our CSP line and sought assistance. We are going to put in the chat the link to our page as well as the telephone number for those that may need that. Thank you.
Thanks, Rhonda. Appreciate it. Family Services, I see that Dr. Beck's is on, or Jameson, Chance. Andrew, did you get Michael Beckett's?
I'm trying to get the name to come up and it's not.
We got Chance Jameson, however.
Oh, okay. Jameson, are you on? Okay. We'll just go ahead and move along. CSB, Community Service Board. If you're available, can you turn on your camera so that Andrew can see who you are?
If you share the name, I'm also looking for them to unmute them, so.
Oh.
Looking for Michael Beckett, but I don't see Michael Beckett on here. He was on earlier.
Yeah, he was on.
I see Jordan
We
shifting.
can, that's not a problem. We can go to cable and consumer services. Rebecca Makeley.
All right, good evening. I'm Rebecca Makeley, and I'm the Director for the Department of Cable and Consumer Services. I also have with me Christine Reedy, a Consumer Specialist in our Consumer Affairs branch. First, I just wanted to say I'm so sorry to hear for the residents and the damage that's been done to your property and your homes, and obviously wish you the best as you navigate what is ahead of you with this, and really hope that tonight when we get to resources and information that it is helpful. My department, not involved in a lot of storm related things, but just a couple things we wanted to make aware of you. On our consumer affairs side, we do want to make sure that people are making sure that they're not becoming victims of scams. Sometimes in a post-storm status, people may want to go door to door and try to attempt to sell you storm-related services, such as, maybe they try saying that you need a new roof or you need a new driveway or trees need to come down. And certainly there might be instances when all of that is applicable, but we want to make sure that if you do have door-to-door solicitors coming into your office, to your homes, that you do know what's required. Christine will be dropping some resources into the chat, so just beware of those situations. We also have links on our website if you need to go about hiring a home improvement contractor, so that you know to check for their licensure, make sure that they have insurance. Make sure what to know before signing a contract, what deposits to put down, when it's appropriate to check with your insurance before putting out money for home improvement repairs. And then we've also put in some red flags, again, just to be aware of in the event of door-to-door solicitors, which again is allowable with a permit in Fairfax County, but just be aware for signs of scams. And lastly, for anyone that might be with our HOAs, while we don't handle complaints directly from HOAs, we do have an HOA resource page on our website that again will be shared in the chat. So if you have questions on how to navigate that, whether you're on the board or if you're a resident of an HOA, resources available to you, and also resources with the Commonwealth of Virginia with the Community Ombudsman. But we're here to help as best we can, and we're another resource. So please check out our information and contact our office if we can be of any assistance with you in your storm recovery. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Appreciate it. That is all of the county agencies. We're going to go into the question and answer part of the segment.
I'm sorry, hold on. Mr. Brown, we do have Jordan Sheff is now online, so he can speak a little bit to the resources that his agency provides.
Perfect. Go ahead, Jordan.
Hi, this is Jordan Sheff. I'm the executive director, the new executive director at the Community Services Board, and I'm here just mostly for supports my sister agencies. We provide assistance across in a variety of ways to Fairfax County, including chronic and persistent mental health issues, addiction issues, disability-related issues. We haven't had any contact from residents regarding these issues, but if there are any concerns or ways that the CSB, the Community Service Board, can help, we would be happy to. We just need to know who to reach out to. Thank you.
Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate it. And then one more, my apologies, Trina Mahan, Andrew Mahan.
Okay, she should have. Yep, go ahead.
Hi, good evening. I'm Trina Mahan Webb, Director of Adult and Aging Services with Department of Family Services. And I'd like to mention that on July 15th, and we can put this in the chat, we are going to be hosting an emergency preparedness webinar for families of caregivers and individuals with disabilities. So would like for you to join in. It's going to be, again, July 15th from 12 to 1. We also have programs within the Department of Family Services that can support with community, with volunteers, bringing them together, and any services for older adults that might need support. Thank you.
Thank you, Trina. Appreciate it. As I stated a second ago, we're going to get into the Q&A part of the meeting. Before we go, I'll take the first one. There have been a few questions in here about Fairfax Alerts, our notification system for the county, and how you are alerted for severe weather. We do run a notification system. It's called Fairfax Alerts. It does require residents to sign up on what alerting they want to receive. Once you put this information in, you can receive alerts in multiple methods, including text and email. We're going to have our staff, Crystal Goodwin, put the link into the chat. I would highly recommend that if you are not signed up for Fairfax Alerts, that you sign up for it. That's where all the official information from the county comes from, as well as weather alerts. So I just wanted to put that out there. I know there were a few questions in there. Hopefully we answered that. Next, Andrea, your staff was documenting some of the questions. If they could go ahead and start, I think we can answer.
Yeah, so one of the questions that we've been getting a lot in the chat is questions about how is significant damage assessed to houses? How is that determined? How is it communicated? Many people are concerned about the damage that they have to their house, and yet they don't know if it's considered uninhabitable, habitable.
Sure.
And I believe that would be a question for Jay. Still here?
Yes. Good evening. That is a question. So the first thing that we did when the storm hit the day of and day after in the evenings was to go out and to determine which homes in this affected area and which buildings in this affected area were habitable and not. That was the first kind of comb through of the area. And if a structure was determined not habitable, that means that it's safe, not safe for anybody to be in that building. A red placard would have been installed on that door. If there was significant damage, but the building was still habitable, maybe portions of the building were not, and some areas had to be blocked off or not occupiable, then there would have been a yellow placard that was put on the structure. And of course, the final one is a green placard, which said that there was minor damage, that any of the space in that building or structure, whether it's a home or a commercial building, is okay to be habitable, but has just some minor damage that needs to be fixed. And so that was the first comb through. What you can do now is, if you still think that there is damage and you've uncovered something after the fact, we could certainly request, like I said, a damage report online from us, where a building inspector will come out within a day or so and come and take a look at the space and look at what the damage is, give you kind of scope of the damage and whether a building permit or what repairs need to be made, and help you kind of coordinate with your contractor as well as you try to make these repairs and move forward.
And Jay, your information is linked from that Microburst website that was shared earlier by Office of Public Affairs. Is that right? Your information?
It's correct. The information in that webpage is current. I had a chance to review that webpage before it was posted as well.
Great. Okay, next question.
So there were a lot of questions about Fairfax alerts and how residents are alerted, and especially with SMS and text notifications as well. Is that an option, or is it just social media in those platforms?
Yeah, that's a good question. I just mentioned a second ago. We do have Fairfax Alerts, which is the county's official notification system for traffic alerts, government closings, weather. It's all based upon your location. So when you sign up for Fairfax Alerts and you put your address in, when we get the messages from the National Weather Service and it's within the shapefile of your address, then you will get that notification. So it's fairly easy. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes to sign up. I was able to do it, so that should make everybody feel a lot easier. But you can absolutely go to that website. It takes 2 or 3 minutes to sign up, and you'll get automatic messages via text or email, your choice. You can put in how you want to receive it. The only message that you might get that you may not have signed up for is if there is a tornado warning. We think that's important enough to send that to everyone, regardless of if you're asking for that notification or not. But hopefully I answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much. The next one is about asbestos. Residents have been concerned due to the fact that many of the houses in the Lake Point community were made around 1972. There's concerns about asbestos exposure in the community and whether or not there are any efforts to test for it. Just want to say, if
Would
someone
that also be someone from Land Development Services?
Yes, asbestos, when a building is constructed prior to 1985, and in a perfect scenario, when an alteration or work is done on that building, before any work can be done, an evaluation has to be done by a certified less asbestos inspector to determine whether there's, first of all, asbestos in that building, or whether the work that's being proposed is going to disturb some asbestos. In this case, of course, there's damage. And so because of that damage, there are going to be some construction that's going to have to take place. So the building code, of course, mandates that before any work is done, that a qualified asbestos inspector comes out and evaluates that. And if there is damage or disturbed asbestos, that a plan be put into place to correct that asbestos exposure before any repairs are made. So that would certainly be part of the building permit process. If, of course, you come in and are seeking a building permit to make these repairs, then one of our staff that we have dedicated will help you walk through that process of getting that asbestos piece of it first taken care of before you can get any building permits to make any repairs. But as far as doing that work, that is on the property owner to hire that contractor or that licensed asbestos inspector to come and make that evaluation.
Okay, thank you. We have another question.
So because there are so many intersecting agencies and responsibilities, is there a clear map of what is the county's responsibility versus HOA versus private citizens within the county?
And who would be best to speak to that question? Would that be Diane Hanson?
Mr. Brown, is there someone you'd recommend to speak to that question about what the county has? One thing that I am looking at as a follow-up is to take all the links that are from here and create a flyer or information to share with you all. But Diane, I think Andrea, I think Diane said she needs to be unmuted.
Okay, I am now unmuted. I'm sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
So because there are so many overlapping in terms of responsibilities areas, what is the difference between what is a private citizen's responsibility versus an HOA versus the county?
Well, now I will do my best to answer this question because I know that it's a very tricky one. It also in regards to like financial support, FEMA in the county and the state, we all look for insurance. So each homeowner should have insurance that should cover what is affected by their property. The HOA, obviously, excuse me, is responsible for the areas, the common areas within a community. The county is responsible for county-owned property, which we've talked about earlier, which is the Royal Lake area, the park area. And then VDOT is responsible for all of the roadways in the county. Again, with the exception of private roadways, which would be the HOA common area spaces.
Okay, thank you for that.
And then we've been getting a lot of questions about downed trees, specifically who's responsible for moving and removing trees that are outside of the property line of private citizens and on county land.
I think we still have Kim Eckert and Michael Lambert who can address that question.
I can jump in just really quickly while they're working to get unmuted. I'll put the link in the chat
Sure.
again in terms of tree resources and who to call. It depends on where the tree is located and where it came from. Oh, Mike, sorry, I want to say thunder.
For the county-owned land that's south of Guinea Road and north of the Lake Point neighborhood, I put Stephanie Power's phone number in the chat, and we're actively looking over the site, having our arborists go over it to identify any weak trees that need to come down. So we're in the process of doing that.
Hi there, this is Kim Eckert, the Director for Park Operations. Just want to add that we do have our natural resources staff and arborists out inspecting the tree canopy overall, as well as, doing inspections regularly for the aftermath. We also put in the chat, I'll put it in there again, any observations from the community would be helpful in terms of trees, but anything on parkland would be Park Operations. So please reach out to us if you need anything or you have any observations that you'd like to report. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. That was really helpful. And that's still on the topic of trees. A lot of people are wondering, what's the timeline? Is there a broader timeline, a shorter timeline for tree removal around the affected areas?
Is this specific to the trees that are falling off of the community land onto the homeowners, or are we speaking about is falling from the county owned property? Okay.
Park and County.
Okay, go ahead, Kim and Mike. Thank you.
Hi there, Kim Eckert again. Just wanted to let you all know I can't obviously commit to a timeline necessarily, but what I can tell you is that we have certainly added a lot of additional resources, working with stormwater as well as some external contractors. There is some challenging situations with getting big equipment in and around the lake, but we are certainly working to clear and haul a lot of those trees that did come down and then do inspections thereafter. So no specific timeline yet, but we certainly do have additional resources on the job. So as soon as possible.
For the county-owned land, it's a lot smaller area, so we should have it done in the next week or so.
And from a VDOT standpoint, our efforts are ongoing, so we will continue to roll through, do our assessments within our right of way, and knock those scenarios out as we go. We're also verifying limits of right of way, et cetera, et cetera. So ongoing efforts for us.
All right, next question.
So a lot of Lake Point homeowners have been wondering, because their HOA does not cover, or their insurance does not cover tree removal, are there resources for them to reach out to for financial assistance in that and in those processes, or?
Yeah, what recommendations does the county have in that kind of situation?
Diane, you want to take a shot at that?
Currently, the county does not have financial resources for residents. I do know that we've had a fundraiser. There was a fundraiser for the community. We've also had some church groups that have offered to help. Those are the resources that I believe are available to maybe help with some of the tree removal costs.
Thanks, Diane. Next question.
All right, so I think we've covered much of what we have been seeing in the chat, but if there is anything that the attendees feel like was not mentioned or discussed, please put it in the chat, and we will try to get to you.
May I jump in? And I was looking at the chat, and maybe Jay can address this. When we were looking at data, and Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there was 1,500 homes that were assessed. 47 of the homes were deemed yellow and 9 were deemed red at the first round, I guess, of assessments that were done by LDS. So there was questions in the chat regarding the number 9 that I had mentioned. So again, collecting data and looking at the data. Jay, is that still an accurate number? Or again, if I think residents feel like they need to have a reassessment done, they can contact your department.
Of course, yeah. First, the reassessment, yeah, if you need a reassessment done, we can certainly come out there and do that reassessment through a damage report. That's the simplest way again. Yeah, the number 9 is correct. I've got 9 red placards and I've got 26 yellow placards. Those are the 2 main ones that had a designation for damage, significant damage, whether it renders the building uninhabitable and they're being red, or whether a portion of the building is uninhabitable and being yellow placarded. Then there's, I think, 6 green ones as well. So we had a total of 43 placards that were placed on these homes or in these properties in that area between the Guinea Road and the Royal Lake itself.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you. A couple questions that I'm seeing is on those who have a yellow placard, maybe some better understanding or more understanding about what that means in terms of what they can access and not for their home. So who would they contact to maybe have, get some of these questions answered?
Yeah, absolutely. They can certainly, again, the simplest way is going to be through requesting a damage assessment and a report for each individual property. Our first go around was to take an outside assessment of the building and visually see that there was significant damage where you couldn't even get into the home or get out safely or live in the home safely, and that would be placarded red. Second was, of course, yellow. Now, after these placards are in place, it would be upon the homeowner or property owner to contact us and request an inspector to actually come in to the property to take a damage assessment and determine what the extent of that damage is, whether it is truly yellow or whether it's green or whether it's actually red. But in most cases, we feel pretty comfortable that if it was red, that they've already been placarded and they're certainly not safe to be habitable.
Okay, great. And there was a question about mental health resources, and Jordan Sheff from the CSB was on earlier. One of the reasons we invited him to join us is the CSB helps coordinate some of the mental health services and disability services, amongst other things in the county. So I don't know, Jordan, if you're still on, but we can put a link to the CSB in here around the mental health services, because I know this is a very traumatic event for all of you on the call and others in the community, and we're here to support you in all ways that we can.
Hi, this is Jordan Sheff at the CSB. We'd be happy to help coordinate with members of the community to identify appropriate levels of mental health care. We don't typically do individual counseling for specific events like this. It's for more chronic and persistent mental health concerns. But we are certainly well connected in the community. And if you are looking for support around those issues, we'll be able to help. As I said, I'm new. My new computer will not let me copy a link from our website to the text box, but I will follow up, or if someone else's computer is able to do that and can assist me, that would be great. But it would be through our assessment and outreach group. I think we call it EAR. But any number at the CSB, we will work to get you help if you need it.
Thank you so much, Jordan. We also, Christopher was so kind to put the link to HHS Health and Human Services in the chat. So I've pinned that at the top of the chat for anybody who needs it.
Thank you. Any additional questions? I believe Gabby.
There's some comments I'm seeing about the number of families who've been displaced is higher than the 9 with the red tags. And so, I mean, I think what I've heard is that those families can reach back out to you to have their homes reassessed that may have gotten yellow. But is there, and there's, the coordinated services planning to provide resources, but is there anything else for those who've been, and also the school system for those who have school age kids, but is there anything else for those who have felt the need to move out of their house have, because of the safety concerns or other concerns that they can reach out to.
I'll also just note, we see that there are a couple of questions in the chat about resources from Fairfax County Public Schools. And we'll reach out to them and make sure that we, in a follow-up communications, we'll provide contact information for Fairfax County schools.
The best place to start in your school, just putting my school board hat on for a few minutes from having just moved from the school board, is to reach out to the family liaison at your school. And that family liaison can help connect you with resources, as well as your school counselor and the principal. The family liaison may be not there right now during the summertime, but the principal should be there year round. So that would be the first place I would start.
Okay, I think we're about done. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
Yeah, I was just going to say one other thing in reference to notifications. There is a system you've probably heard of before. It's called WEA, Wireless Emergency Alert. That is another way that you can receive emergency messages specifically about weather from the National Weather Service and Fairfax County if we decide to send one out as well. The difference between the notification system I described earlier and WEA is you don't sign up for WEA. It's based upon cell carriers. So if we have an event in, say, Centerville, and we send out a message to that area, anybody that travels through that area over the next hour or 2 hours, however long we determine the message, you will get that. So I want to make sure people don't get mixed up when you receive a WEA. It's also loud. It's one of the ones where it takes your phone out of mute and it's a loud beep. That's a WEA. You may get that. So there's a difference in those notification systems. I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you. So I believe we've covered as many of the questions from the chat as we can right now. I'm seeing one question here that may go to one of our attendees. We're still getting questions about what is the process for Fairfax County to get assistance from FEMA? And why didn't the county? I guess people want to understand why the county didn't qualify for FEMA funds.
There are other state emergency services.
I can address that. Again, FEMA looks at they call it a catastrophic incident as a whole and how it impacts the county as a whole. And when we looked at the data in regards to the number of homes and townhomes that were impacted versus the county population, it's a it's not even 0.5%. So FEMA will not consider assistance due to the, again, very low percentage of overall residents that are impacted by the county. And I will say this, we've been very fortunate as a county. I've been here for over 20 years. We've never had a catastrophic event where we've had a large percentage of the county impacted by a natural disaster. There's a lot of other different factors that FEMA looks into as well. The first thing is homeowners insurance. Do you have homeowners insurance? They look at vulnerable populations. They look at economic impact. There's a lot of things that go into FEMA coming in to a community and offering assistance. They also look at homes that are completely destroyed versus significantly damaged or minor damages. And if we had the opportunity, trust me, as a county, we would pull the FEMA resources in if we qualified for FEMA resources and financial assistance.
Yeah, and my understanding, but I'll let county staff speak, is there's similar on the state side. And if Laura Jane's still on, Delegate Cohen, maybe she may be able to share on that. But And so I think one of the things that at my seat that I've started having conversations about is there a way to talk to some of our partner agencies at the state to say when there's a smaller population wise, but really concentrated damage, like what happened here, can there be some changes to the way the FEMA or the state looks at emergency responses? Because while it wasn't, compared to the size of the county, a large area, it was very devastating for the area that it hit. And so that's something I've been trying to look into to see what lessons can we learn from this, so that is maybe not the situation going forward. But that's a broader conversation with our state and federal partners.
And yes, and the state has different, obviously, requirements for a state declaration. And when a state declaration is enacted, there are, you're right, there are resources that become available. But the state also does look at a state declaration, and they look at the state as a whole and the impact of a significant event that is going to impact a large portion, of the state. But I do agree with you that there are not resources available for smaller incidents like this one.
Yeah,
And I think, go ahead.
sorry, Rachna. Just confirming definitely what Diane said and what you said as well. I think from a legislation perspective, maybe there's some opportunity to look at these, highly concentrated incidents and give them sort of a different classification. And we certainly will be talking with our folks about that. The other piece is, what assistance lives out there for HOAs in these kinds of, disasters where it's one or two neighborhoods at a time. And I recognize that Lake Point and several other communities have drained all of their resources just getting rid of trees alone. So we're going to look into seeing, going forward, what we can do to be helpful there too.
Yeah, that's another area that I'm having conversations on the county side as well, is that how can we look, especially I think as things are changing, weather-wise and climate-wise, what can we do to look at the possibilities of some of these, like I said, smaller but very devastating, where they hit micro incidents or microbursts, and how can we provide support to HOAs and civic associations? I think, it's something that Delegate Cohen and I are going to talk about as well. So I recognize this may not be a lot of comfort to you all, that these are things that were lessons learned as things are changing, but we are taking from the legislative and the policy side, trying to figure out how we can provide better resources next time, if given the changing situations with some of these microclimate incidents.
Angie, do we want to take opportunity to bring in Todd Murphy from the Braddock Council District?
Mr. Brown, I'm trying to figure out how to include our HOA presidents.
Yes.
And I am not able to add them to the roles that I have here. I'm pretty sure Mr. Jackson is on. I know Chris Futrell is there. I'm not sure how to bring in people who aren't already on the county email list.
If they're in on just a call, a cell phone or something, we can unmute them, just give them opportunity to speak.
Okay, hold on. I think we may have figured it out. Just give me a few more seconds. Appreciate everyone's patience.
Sure.
I just unmuted him, so I think Todd maybe should work, but I'm not sure. I'll let Andrew figure it out.
Okay. While we're waiting, there was someone in the chat named Valerie that submitted a question, and I answered it just to have her provide her contact information to the board, and I would reach out to her. So if she could do that, I'd appreciate it.
Okay. And Mr. Murphy, if we can't figure out how to get you unmuted, you're welcome to call me and I'll just have you speak through my phone.
Okay, let's see. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, fantastic. Okay, something worked. Hallelujah. So I'm Todd Murphy. I'm the president of the Braddock District Council. First of all, I wanted to thank Supervisor Sizemore Heiser for inviting me this evening to speak with you. I know this has been a rough week for a lot of you. My heart goes out to you. I was gone for the last week and wasn't able to see the damage up close until this afternoon. My wife and I were able to drive around both Lake Point and Chatham town communities and saw the devastation there. And even though I've spoken already with folks from your community, with Christopher Trell from Lake Point, it's just really kind of hard to imagine until you see it up close. I'm going to put in the chat box right now my email address, and you're welcome to reach out to me. All right. And so just a quick overview, the Braddock District Council, we are not a government entity per se, but rather we are an association of approximately 30 to 40 of the community associations, both homeowner associations and civic associations within the Braddock District. So our focus really is to facilitate communication between our members and also with Supervisor Sizemore Heiser's office. So we meet approximately once every other month. We go over common issues for our communities like code compliance. For example, maybe your neighbor's yard is full of trash and not from the storm, but just from being sloppy. What do you do? Or you have issues with trash or the roads. How can we meet to educate ourselves and work together? But also within our mission statement, we not only provide like a liaison between us and the supervisor's office for just everyday issues, but also we play a role in terms of disaster preparedness. So if you go back to the day of the storm, I looked at my watch, I was cooking dinner and it was about 4:50 in the afternoon and the winds were really picking up outside. And I was looking out the window to the west and as a transplanted Midwesterner, I thought, wow, this is not good. Turned off the stove and I hustled my family down into the basement. We have a ranch style house here in Country Club View where I've lived for the past 25 years and got to the basement. We were very thankful. Everybody was fine. But we had water come through our basement door. And so I was able to jump into action and just kind of by just sheer muscle memory, since we have water in the basement once before, get up the shop vac and my wife was helping and we got things cleaned up. So this really isn't about me, but really it's like what was going through my head as all this was happening. You don't have time to Google search, what the heck am I going to do next, right? You need some plan of action. You know, is your family safe? My neighbors, were they safe? How about some of my elderly folks that live down the street from me that are in their 80s? Are they okay? We did have some friends of ours who lived down our street who had a tree go through the top of their house, and they're okay. But there's no one go-to resource that I had with me that said, wow, this is what I should be doing next. And eventually I texted folks and called some others. But it would be nice to have some way for just your average citizen and also your community leaders to, within our associations, to be able to have a plan of action. And so what I'd like to do is take back from this evening to my local council some ideas, some feedback from the community, the folks here, about, you know, what are we looking for so that we can help shape maybe our next meeting in September. We can come up with some ways to brainstorm some ideas, you know, and so we've got a plan. So the next time if something happens, because hopefully it doesn't again, but you never know. I lived here long enough. We've had the derecho, we've had other issues. What are we going to do? And I know there's a lot of resources, but when the time comes, you can't be searching through pamphlets and looking online for help, because at that point you need to get it quickly. So I'm going to stop talking to you, let some other folks chip in what their thoughts are, and get some input from you folks, what you saw, what we can do to help you out. Like I said, we're not a government entity, but we can help get the word out to our civic and homeowners associations to help educate them and help you guys ultimately.
I believe we were able to give Mike access to Chris Futrell of the Lake Point Association, and also to Mr. Jackson of Lake Point Townhomes Association, if you want to chime in.
Yes, this is Christopher Futrell at Lake Point. I do want to say I've been on the board for over a quarter of a century, but we've started a succession plan, and Laura Grove is now the president. She's an educator and a very good civic advocate for all of the residents in Burke. And again, I just wanted to thank the Braddock District Council for hosting this event, and all of the public servants, including those with the fire who came into my home to cut a tree off my house and make sure that my wife, when I was away from home, could get out safely. So thank you. That is my personal. I do want to say that, again, there is some disconnect between the initial reports and what we are seeing here on the ground with the numbers. And even though it seems laughable, there were residents here when LDS ran out of stickers to put on homes. And we know of people, our friends, neighbors, and families who are impacted and who have been asked or told that they have to leave or unable to, safely stay in their place. And that number probably is larger than the 9 that seemed to be the basis for the discussion at the beginning of this meeting. At this point, we know that Burke is just a small part of the entire population of Fairfax County. So therefore, we understand considerably that the justification for emergency funding may be difficult. However, I do want to start with this meeting today to set up some targeted actions towards possible supplemental funding for next year, because we may be looking at these same trees in the VDOT public right of way next year. As we know that they've cleared the roadways, but understandably, these actions when it comes to VDOT, unless someone can correct me and has lived here longer than I, usually do take a long time before some of the trees are removed. And as we know that there may not be immediate funding, that may not extend to overtime for public agencies, and their resources could be drained. So to ensure that they can be equipped fiscally to assist us. And when I say us, the HOAs who do also clear public roads to make access to the private communities so that, during this storm, residents can get back and forth to their home. And we know that there's probably no check that's going to be coming out of the sky to reimburse those HOAs for those services. My heart is out again to all of those that are negatively impacted. And I'm thankful for those Lake Point residents and leaders that were able to participate in the call today. And we look forward to establishing and working with the Braddock District Council such that when a call is made, we might be able to come together and share a directory of resources amongst impacted organizations. Thank you.
Do any of the other HOA presidents want to chip in? We've given access to Laura, Mr. Jackson. Anyone else?
Hey guys, this is Laura Grove. Just wanted to let you know that in our neighborhood, we take trees very seriously. We love our trees, but we also know our trees will not love us back all the time. So we have allocated funds that we save and that we include arborist visits and we get risk certified arborists to inspect the trees in our neighborhood. So when we look at what to do better in the future, we were already doing so much of that. And thankfully, we had a little pot of money that we could it's depleted now, be able to use to clear up the trees and make sure our neighborhood was safe again. But ultimately, it's not what are we going to do in the future? We need something that can help us right now. We have worked tirelessly in our neighborhood to make sure our residents feel somewhat supported, referring them resources, anywhere between, what they can do for their children in the school system, all the way to seniors in the neighborhood, and just making sure that we have people checking on each other. So it's probably more support we need now than we need for planning for the future. Like next storm, what will we do? We kind of know what to do, but I don't think we're ever going to see a storm like this again. But whatever you guys can help support us financially is really what we're looking for.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, and I appreciate it. And we're going to take all of this feedback back and see what the possibilities are. But we understand, and my heart goes out to all of you all, especially when we drove through and saw, but even continuing the disruption and difficulty to your lives and to your families' lives, and is ongoing, as well as to your homes, which is one of the most difficult things, is to have your home in the place that you're supposed to be safe and secure and relax and be yourself, to be disrupted. So we're taking all this feedback back. We're going to look into what's possible, but thank you for sharing that. And we will, my office will also work with the Braddock District Council and staff to create that sort of resource guide for folks, so then you have it at your fingertips when needed. Is there any other HOA presidents who'd like to share some thoughts? We've got a few minutes left in our meeting.
I think Mr. Jackson wanted to speak.
Mr. Jackson, I believe your mic is activated, but if it's not, can you drop something in the chat so we can make sure you can turn your mic on?
Might need to check to make sure you're unmuted. Okay, we can see you, Mr. Jackson, but you're still muted. Let me see. Okay, just a moment.
Can you try one more time for us, Mr. Jackson?
Do you want to put your comment in the chat, or you're welcome to call one of us as well if we can't figure out the mic issue? I'm not sure what's going on. I think
Ms. Fraser, your mic is also enabled, by the way. Sorry.
Hi, thank you. My name is Emily Prizer. I am the Vice President for the Village Park HOA. I just wanted to once again thank you all for taking the time to meet with us. I understand your hands being tied with the quote small nature of this storm. However, we're seeing an uptick in this county of these types of storms. I made a comment about Reston was just hit recently as well. So perhaps that could be a way for us to work together to gather resources. I understand Lake Point absolutely devastated by the storm. Village Park also had a good amount of tree damage. And our goal is to not impact our community members more than they already are. Like, everybody is going to have work done. We don't want to do a special assessment. We're trying our hardest not to do that. But the beauty of these communities are the trees. So once we clear out all of these trees, then we also have to look forward to the future. So coming up with ideas for these kinds of both the costs of the removal, and then moving forward, the recovery process and building for the future. It would be great if we could try and brainstorm ways to help us now and in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrea, if I can really, I'm sorry, Supervisor.
No, go ahead. No, please go ahead, Mr. Brown.
Okay. Emily, I just wanted to make sure that we were clear. There were two additional incidents after the incident in Burke, one in Reston and one in Great Falls. And neither one of those were identified by the National Weather Service as being a microburst. I just want to make sure that that's clear. It's summertime, and unfortunately conditions sometimes cause very severe thunderstorms, and you sometimes get microbursts out of there. But the previous two after Burks were not microbursts nor tornadoes. I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
It's 8:30, and I know staff have been here for a while and working late today, and I want to be respectful of their time. I also want to, and I understand that there are many people have questions and concerns. We're going to take back all your feedback and see what other options there are, as well as working with the Braddock District Council in my office to create the resource guide. So first, I wanted to thank all of the staff members who are here today. We have quite a few agencies here, and we'll compile all of the chats. If you are signed up for my newsletter, we'll be putting all of the links in my newsletter, so you'll have all of the links to the different agencies and resources that were shared in the chat today, and we'll use that to create the resource guide as well for our communities. I also just wanted to end by thanking my staff as well for all their hard work in pulling this together on fairly short notice. And finally, I just wanted to say that to all of you who are on this call, especially from the communities who are really impacted, Lake Point, we hear you. Our hearts go out to you. We're doing what we can to help as much as we can, and we're going to make sure we continue to look to see how we can support you as you go through the rebuilding process. I see Mr. Rodriguez had his hand up for 45 minutes. I can give you a couple minutes to speak before we leave. Your mic should be enabled.
Yes, his mic is enabled.
Well,
Mr. Rodriguez, are you still there?
All right. Well, we'll follow back up with him as well to see the concerns. We'll reach out to him from my office. So in the meantime, I want to thank everybody again for being here tonight, for your time, and we feel you. And we're here, and we're going to continue to be here to support you as best we can. I want to thank Delegate Laura Jane Cohen as well for coming tonight, and Amir from Chairman McKay's office to support. This is recorded. We will share this recording as well for those who couldn't participate tonight. So again, thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody.
Okay, before you all go, can you finally hear me? One last try. This is Chris Rodriguez, the resident.
Yes,
now we can hear you.
Thank you. I'm not sure what happened there. So I do not want to keep all of us any longer. I agree, Ms. Sizemore. I will respect everyone's time. Thank you for all your efforts. I will just try to summarize with one simple statement, which is clearly there are a lot of moving parts here, a lot of different agencies, a lot of different resident types, some people more significantly affected than others, some concerned about home, some concerned about silly little things like beautification. I understand all of the moving parts. There are national organizations, there are micro organizations. I think what all people on this call would truly benefit from is a general problem-solving mentality. Thus far, with respect to everyone on the call, the tone has been one of liability checking, which I get. It's a political topic. We are inherently speaking to folks who have responsibilities. We want to make sure that things are going such that liability is taken care of. The first half of this call was entirely based on people telling us what they did prior. We are looking for problem solving. There have been resources that have been shared loosely through comments here and there. This does not feel like a comprehensive effort. I am being direct, but hopefully respectful in the sense that everyone's working hard here. We're all tired, but we're looking for problem solving across the board. So we're looking for proactivity and that type of tone. The woman who just spoke prior to me had that tone, which was refreshing, which was to say, hey, here's an idea. We have 3 different experiences. Let's combine these resources. Whether the idea is good or not is actually less the point. It's more proactivity of trying to solve the problem for all of these residents. With that, I will leave you all. Thank you for hearing me as a concerned citizen.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez, for sharing your thoughts, and we'll take that feedback back. Thank you. I appreciate it. But with that, our county staff is here, as you saw, to support you. And again, we are very sorry for what has happened. We are here to try to help, and I appreciate Delegate Cohen being here. And I really appreciate all of your time when you have a lot going on, especially with those who have homes that need significant cleanup or repair. So thank you. And those HOA presidents, I just wanted to end with this. I know it's often very thankless, a lot of hours and a lot of communities to help manage, and your volunteer time and your heart to your communities is seen, and we're here to help support you. So thank you again, everybody, for coming out tonight. Have a good night.
Thank you.